we go! It's extra and premium time once again, the mid-month update that adds a bunch of games to your catalogue while sneaking a few out the back door while you're not looking. Let's go through them all before they arrive, or disappear, on Tuesday, March 18th. I'm Adam, hello there, please leave a like, it really helps this series. Thank you very much. Let's do this! Our month kicks off with an absolute gem, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, a side-scrolling action platformer with Metroid elements that has us play as a young warrior named Sargon who is on a mission to rescue the Prince of Persia. This happens just as an invasion begins with an entire army to battle against whilst pursuing the prince. Gameplay-wise, every biome is connected together, with many puzzles to find and solve in between fights against grunts and epic bosses. As this is Metroidvania, going back to older areas after unlocking a new ability is vital, as new paths and new zones are hidden away everywhere. At regular intervals, Sargon receives new abilities like rewinding time a few moments and even teleportation, and one lets you recruit an enemy on screen for a short time. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown didn't sell very well, but I can without a doubt tell you that this is one of the best action platformers I've played in years. I highly recommend it, and so do the critics, with an average review score of a smidge under 9 out of 10. For gamers who like a more realistic fight, check out EA Sports UFC 5, which was praised for its way to combine both a brutal sports sim with an entertaining fighting game, which is also a huge step up from the last entry in the series. In-ring fights now look even closer to the real pay-per-view events, right down to the entrance animations and Bruce Buffer's iconic intros. A new damage system comes in UFC 5 that impacts stamina greatly, and you'll see small cuts slowly swelling, eventually making your fighter more prone to knockouts. The career mode remains a highlight as we take a low-funds brawler to the big leagues, improving their skills from rank amateur to UFC main eventer. Average review score for UFC 5, 8 out of 10. On to another sport now, football, or soccer if you prefer, but this time it's framed around an anime series, Captain Tsubasa: Rise of New Champions. It's an arcade game that is far detached from EA Sports. The main draw is a story mode in which we choose to represent a Japanese middle school and play in a junior league before becoming an international. And we have a character creator to make our perfect design. Now for the fundamentals. This soccer game is part RPG with evolving stats, and as this is an anime too, expect over-the-top cinematics and power shots and some UFC style violence, which is perfectly legal here for some reason. The core mechanic in gameplay is basically a coin toss. For example, when running past players we can either sprint or dribble, and the defender has those two options too. If the defender guesses right and matches your input, they take the ball, and if they pick wrong, you run past them instead. And we didn't get to talk about power shots. Just look at this madness. Captain Tsubasa: Rise of New Champions has a review score of 69%. If that isn't bizarre enough for you, check out You Suck at Parking, a top-down racing game in which the finish line is a single parking spot, and it's your job to stop perfectly in it and hope nobody rear-ends you into oblivion. The world is presented like a puzzle game with many physics-based obstacles to navigate and only enough fuel to get to your goal as quickly as possible. So you'll have to rush, which makes the final parking attempt so chaotic to say the least. On PC, You Suck at Parking has a 9 out of 10 user score. I'm not sure if that's legit or a joke, you'll have to see for yourself. Wait, that wasn't bizarre enough for you, okay? Bang on Balls Chronicles, a bouncy 3D platformer inspired by all the best games in that genre. There are Italian plumbers, which are obviously Mario and Luigi, and a blue hedgehog, which has to be Sonic. In-game, we jump into TVs and play out the story of a TV show or movie. Mechanically, there's not a lot of depth. We can dash, we can jump, we can platform, we can ground pound. Luckily, there are collectible little gimmicks in each level to keep things fresh. In one mission, we must choose to build a rocket, while another has us in a ninja-fueled Ghost of Tsushima outing. Not masses of depth, but enough to stop your boredom for a while. And it has multiplayer too. Back to a little bit more realism now, and Syberia: The World Before. This series began life as a point-and-click adventure many years ago, but now it's reached a third-person cinematic adventure littered with puzzles to solve. Surprisingly, there's a heavy focus on the meaning of life and what identity really means living in a country that is slowly becoming more totalitarian. We'll actually live through harrowing moments in Kate's life when she was forced to work in a salt mine and comprehend our own mortality. Some hard-hitting themes in this game, so be in the right frame of mind if you choose to play it. Syberia: The World Before has a review score of 81 out of 100, so it's good. Next is Arcade Paradise on the PS4 and PS5, set in the 1990s in a video game arcade. This is actually a business sim with a ton of minigames and cabinets to play. We must keep the place clean, keep the machines running, and use the mounds of quarters we earn to buy new games, which you can then play yourself. And if that fails, your dad owns a laundry business next door to top up your cash when you need it. Eventually, everything you do is a minigame, from flicking the bugs off the motherboards, to taking out clothes in the dryer, to plunging a massive turd out of the loo. Yes, real. Arcade Paradise has an average review score of a smidge under 7.5 out of 10. Finally on Extra is Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy, and I'm absolutely clueless what this one is, so I'm just going to read the blurb instead. The Noisy Fairy, a secret unit under the direct control of the Principality of Zeon and led by Alma, is pushing forward in the one-year war against the Earth Federation forces. Grasp the unshakable bonds between comrades in this epic single-player battle action game. Yeah, I've no idea what I just said either. Oh, a quick note about a game that vanished from PS Plus Extra with no warning at all. Sayonara Wild Hearts, the neon-filled action rhythm game. If you were looking for it and couldn't find it last month, you should know it's finally back right now, and that's because it's been updated to add a PS5 version alongside the PS4. Okie dokie, if you haven't found something to play already, take a tip from me. As Death Stranding 2 now has a release date of June 26th, it's the perfect time to jump back into the original game. Death Stranding is on PS Plus Extra, both the OG release on PS4 and the PS5 Director's Cut with additional content and tweaks. Death Stranding is a tough game to categorise, and basically we're a mailman or a postie dropping off parcels around America while tar-covered monsters stuck between life and death attack us. It's a far more complex story than that, and if you bounced off this game back in 2019, you should know there is far more content in-game right now. From new missions to Cyberpunk 2077 crossover gear, a Half-Life gravity glove to grab things from afar, stunt ramps, and best of all, a buddy bot to do all the walking for you. I also have this horrible feeling that Sony will remove Death Stranding from PS Plus as we approach the sequel. Do with that info however you see fit. Alas, it's the time in the video where we lose games from the catalogue, and on March 18th, say goodbye to 10 games. Resident Evil 3 and the Nemesis's pursuit of Jill will be over, and not even Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright can save her. That trilogy is leaving too. Street Fighter V, both Standard and Championship editions, are walking away from the brawl, and Mortal Kombat 11 is taking a break as well. The anime open-world shenanigans of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot are no more, and the overly long title of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R is going too. Say au revoir to Life is Strange 2 and Life is Strange True Colors, and the Final Fantasy game everyone forgets exists, Type 0. And rounding off the losses is probably the worst title for a video game ever made. Goodbye, Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship, the official video game 6. It rolls off the tongue. All these games will become locked from your subscription on Tuesday, March 18th, so finish up any of these before you have to buy the game to continue playing. Okay, over to the ever disappointing premium part of PS Plus we go. And remember that arcade sim we looked at earlier? Well, that's here for PSVR 2 users this month too. Arcade Paradise now lets you physically do all the things in an arcade, like clean out a toilet. This is Eurogamer's footage, by the way. I can't wait to do it myself. Elsewhere, the Classics catalogue brings the games we were promised last month. All 3 of the first Armoured Core games from the PS1 are here, so get your mech on if you want to relive these classics from long before the fires of Rubicon. Okay, so that's our month. What do you think? Please try Prince of Persia. It's definitely worth your time. I'm Adam, you're awesome. It's been a pleasure. See ya!